I'm Bowen Byram in conversation with Joe Leary.
So we're recording this in the general manager's office at the Vancouver Giants, and as a player, when you come into the general manager's office, there's usually one or two things that can happen. Do you ever get that kind of nervousness when you're called into the office for whatever reason?
Yeah, I mean, usually when you're getting called in, it's not usually all good things. But no, Barkley's a really approachable guy, so it's a bit different this year. It's kind of a more of a family atmosphere around here.
Now, speaking of family, Bowen, because you guys really are, most sports teams are, unlike other families where family members don't get traded, and you know, that's got to be the crap side of the business.
Yeah, for sure. It's never easy seeing your family members go, but it's part of the business, like you said, and it's something you got to live with. If I want to be a hockey player moving on, it's definitely something that's involved in it. So it's all part of it, and yeah, you just got to live with it. Speaking
of moving on, because the team is doing real well, you're doing real well, and there's a lot of hype out there. Can you divorce yourself from that? Do you take a peek at the papers or listen to sports radio and kind of get caught up in that at all?
I try not to. It's hard sometimes. I mean, there's lots of stuff going on around with just rankings and whatnot. But yeah, I think I do a pretty good job of just making sure that's on the back burner. I just try to work hard, and I just try to help the Vancouver Giants win games.
So potentially, not too far down the road, there's going to be a big old payday. Do you fantasize about that at all? Are you money motivated? Do you dream of flash cars and vacations and stuff?
No, I'm not really that type of person. Growing up in Cranbrook or whatnot, it's just not kind of the type of person I am. But it's definitely motivating. I mean, money's pretty much what runs the world. So yeah, I'm working towards that one day, and hopefully one day I can get there.
So, not that I've been to Cranbrook. It's a town of about 19,000, and it's the home of Steve Yzerman. Yeah. So is it like everywhere you go, you see signs of Steve Yzerman?
No, it's actually funny. I didn't even realize he was from there for a while. It's not really, I don't know really how to explain it. It's a pretty quiet town. Obviously the Ice are there right now. Unfortunately, they're moving. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's a lot of hockey going around there, but also the Niedermayers are from there, so yeah, there's lots of hockey heritage.
So when you go and you're, say, sitting at Wendy's or A&W or something, people aren't going, hey, that's Bowen Byram. Not yet.
Yeah, no, not quite, no.
Okay, so when did the hockey bug hit you? Were you a rink rat? I mean, your dad played a bit in the show, I know that, but did that inspire you? Were you just a sports nut?
Well, I think just growing up, my dad was always playing, so I was always around the rink, watching games, watching practices. So I think it was just kind of bred into me, to be honest. All I remember when I was growing up is hockey was always what I wanted to do. Hockey was the most fun thing in my life. So I'm not quite sure how to answer that. It's just kind of always been there.
So was there a choice B? Like, I mean, if you didn't show any promise as a hockey player, was there another sport that you might have been okay at?
Well, I was pretty good at baseball, actually. I think I might have been, at that time, better than baseball than I was at hockey, to be honest. But no, I think hockey was always my first choice, no matter what was going to happen.
Now, I got to ask you also, coming from a town of 19,000 people, and you're now in the greater Vancouver area of about 3.5 million, was there some culture shock initially? Because this, by comparison, is metropolis. This is huge.
Yeah, not really, honestly. It was kind of nice being out in Tawasin. It's a bit of a smaller area, a bit more familiar like Cranbrook, but no, not really. I think I changed over to this type of lifestyle pretty good, and it's just been fun since.
You got a really cool name. Bowen Byram is a really cool name, and the one thing that pisses me off about hockey players is, what do they call you, Bozy or Bizy or what?
Yeah, I don't know. Lots of guys call me Bo.
Okay, I can live with that.
My dad's nickname was Byzy. I guess like all hockey players are. Is it
just a thing? Like when a new one walks into the dressing room, do you have to sit there and by committee you decide this is what we're going to call you?
Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of happens. I don't really know how to explain it. But yeah, the funny thing about my name is actually you wouldn't realize how many people get it wrong. I feel like it's a pretty easy name, Byram, Bowen Byram. Mm-hmm. For some reason, people get it mixed up, think Byram's my first name.
Well, because they're thinking of Byron. I think there's a lot of confusion there, but it's a very distinct. What's your middle name?
Sean, my dad's first name.
BSB.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's cool. That could be your nickname.
Yeah,
there you go. Copyright right here. So you're living in the Vancouver area. You're playing for the Giants. Are you a Canuck fan because you're from BC, or did you have other teams that you were turned on by as a kid?
Funny story, actually. I love the Canucks growing up. They were always good. Won the President's Trophy a couple times just when I was starting to really watch hockey. So the year they made it to the Cup final and they lost, I kind of flipped out. I was little. I had a bit of a spaz. But I remember my mom telling me, like, oh, so what are you going to do now? I'm like, well, I'm done with the Canucks. They're not my favorite team anymore. But I always have a soft spot for them. So, yeah, I was definitely a fan growing up.
So you know that there's a lot of pressure put on people in your position to be the role models, if you will. I mean, because obviously there's a lot of people that look up to you. I don't imagine you've got a lot of dirt in your past anyway. I think you seem like a pretty decent guy. But is that something that you're always got to be conscious of?
Yeah, for sure. I'm starting to learn that a lot more this year, just kind of like talking with our coaching staff and whatnot. Everyone's always watching, especially just of late with the draft coming up and stuff. There's lots of media around and everything. So I just got to be cognizant of what's going on, what I'm doing all the time. Obviously, I don't think I'm really a guy that needs to worry about that too much. Like, I don't think I'm a bad person or anything. So it seems to come easy.
And the other thing that you need to do is just be aware, as we talked about, of the media.
Yeah.
You're a good interview, and you know that some people in the game of hockey aren't particularly. So do you like this sort of the side of the business? Because I mean, again, the more attention that's going to be put on you, the more microphones in your face and the more reporters in your face, and you have to learn how to deal with it. Are you finding it's getting more comfortable for you?
Yeah, I mean, bright lights in your face all the time and whatnot. It's kind of stressful, but I find these types of interviews a lot easier than the hockey ones. Hockey ones are pretty, I don't know, they're all the same, it seems like. Yeah, get the puck deep, get it out, blah, blah, blah. But no, I enjoy this stuff quite a bit.
So one final question, because again, I don't want to dwell on it. We don't know where you're going to be in, say, 2 years' time. We don't know what team you're going to be playing for. But there's obviously a lot of fingers crossed that things are going to go real well for you. Does that make you a bit nervous? Does it excite you? Like what do you, when you think about the future, what's your reaction to it?
I don't know. I think excitement. The place I'm in right now, there's a lot of things that could happen, but I think I've worked hard to get where I am, and there's a lot of hard work that has to happen if I want to end up where I want to be, which is the NHL. So there's a lot of hard work that lies ahead, but yeah, it's exciting times.
Fine young man. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.